What's poppin', my soul squad? You're tuned in to Saving One Soul at a Time with your girl, your host, Black Angel, where we focus on healing and mental awareness for real people in the real world. Today, we're going to go a little different with this just because I have been on an emotional roller coaster, and today's topic is how to overcome depression, which I think is an awesome topic to discuss, especially in the emotions that I am in today, of just being able to be transparent and open up to y'all. I've been crying out to God all day to take away this feeling because I hate when I feel this way. But unfortunately, I still feel this way. I couldn't let y'all down by not recording, so I still had to record. So here is me, the transparent me, Black Angel, whoever you thought I was or whoever you think I am, here is me today. So in the case, if there's tears or if there's, getting off topic, it's not that I'm doing it intentionally. I'm just doing what I feel and how I feel on today. I want everybody to understand that depression comes in so many ways and different avenues and different levels. Majority of those who do go through depression will overcome it. It just really depends on what type of depression that you're in will determine how long you're in that depression. So I have overcome several moments of depression. But just because you overcome it doesn't mean that it doesn't come back. And I say that to say is that I have overcome the depression that I had in the past, but currently I am still going through depression now. The good thing I can say is not as bad as it was when I first went into depression. And what really just took me into depression was losing my brother. Since May of 2022, I've been in depression. At first, you can call the depression more severe. That's because at the beginning I didn't see no ending to it. I didn't see no light. All I can see was darkness. But now, even though I'm still in depression and I'm in this dark place, I still see light. That's a wonderful thing. So I want to let y'all know there are several levels to depression, and you have to take it not one day at a time, but 1 second at a time. Like I say, majority of us overcome it. It's not something that's forever. But in order to be able to overcome depression, you have to be able to do certain things to do that. You cannot do it by yourself. If you listen to my last episode, Back into God's Power, depression has to be healed through God's power. You also going to have to take some additional physical steps as well to get through those times as well. And some things are like dieting, working out, talking to someone who's very positive, giving you positive feedback, positive energy, and just going to the word, the Bible. Honestly, that's the only thing that gives me peace. I have a lot of people who are very positive in my life, and majority of the people that I deal with are positive. I don't really deal with negative people. I can't really entertain it. I can't really be around it. It's contagious. Energy is real. The energy that I demonstrate, I want it to be demonstrated back to me. So whenever I communicate with people, I pay attention to nonverbals, verbals. I pay attention to all those things that can give me an idea of the person that I am dealing with, so I can know if this person is here for a reason or for a season. And I say that to say is that you have to have positive people around you to be able to overcome depression. You have to have people who are willing to allow you to talk, but not make you feel crazy. You have to be able to say, tell your mind all the positive things instead of the negative things. Unfortunately, when we go through depression, all you think about is negative things. That's what really causes depression and puts us in that black hole. So you have to be able to have those people in place to encourage you that you can do it, encourage you to lean on God, encourage you to let you know that you're not alone, encourage you to let you know that you can keep going. Like, you got to have those people. But most important, you got to have God. Like, any depression that I've literally got through is because of God. It's not because of me. It's not because of people. It's not because of nobody. I'm not giving nobody that credit. Only person I can give that credit to is God. Because he's the only one that can get me out that darkness. He's the only one that can give me peace. He's the only one that can give me joy. Like, I'm not going to discredit my friends, my fiance, my family, or anything like that and say that they don't give me those positive emotions, but it's for that moment. I need this for a lifetime. So in order to get a lifetime of that type of energy, the only person that can give you that is God. So I'm not saying that your friends and your family and your significant other or whoever it may be that you may confide in can't give it to you. But I'm saying what gives it to me and how I overcome it is God. My first time of depression, and it was suicidal depression, is when I got pregnant at 14. I didn't know how to be a mother. Yeah, I watched my mother be a single mother. She worked 2 jobs. That's why I had to be raised by my aunt and my grandmother. But I still didn't know how to be a mother of my own. I knew what my mother did for us, but that doesn't mean that you know how to be a mother. So that was my first time of depression. I never thought it would end. Not long was it not only depression, it was suicidal depression. I was willing to take my own life because I didn't know which way to turn. I didn't know if to go left. I didn't know if to go right. I didn't know which way to go. So first, that was my first part of depression. But like I told y'all on my first episode, when I first found out that I was officially pregnant, I went straight to the feet. I went to God and I prayed and I told him what I wanted to be, what I wanted to do, how I wanted to overcome this. And he did just that. So I was able to come out of that depression, but I was in that depression for a whole year, almost a year and a half. I was in that depression. I found out I was pregnant 21 weeks in. I went straight into depression, and then I ended up having my daughter and was still in depression 6 months after it. So typically I was in depression for a whole year. Imagine that feeling. For anybody who's already been going through depression more than a month, I can only imagine what you're going through. It's like you're in this dark tunnel. You're screaming out for help. There is no one there to help you, and you want the pain to stop. I'm here to tell you, keep your eyes on the prize. That's God, because that's going to be the only person that gives you light. My second time I went into depression is when I got robbed. That was a whole different ball game for me. I really, at that moment, didn't even know I was going to make it at that time. And at the same time of me getting robbed, one of our close friends was actually getting robbed too. He worked in a trap and they shot him in the head. So the same night as I'm getting robbed, a close friend getting robbed, he didn't make it, but I did. I automatically went into depression. These tragedies and trauma will take you to those elements. And the only person to help you get out of that is going to be God. His word is the truth. Human word, I'm not saying it's not the truth. I'm just saying that if they're not speaking to you what God will speak to you, then it's not going to heal you. You're going to still be in depression. So depression is a very, very hard emotion to separate from. Anything can make us go into depression. Grief is one of the number one things that make majority of people go into depression, or health issues make people go into depression. Those are the top two. But anything can make people go into depression depending on how strong your mental state is. And then I went into depression again when I lost my best friend. There was so many rumors, so many unanswered questions that took me to a place where I didn't know who to trust, who to believe, what was going on, why this, why him. He had just got home. He did 7 years, was only out for 9 months, and they literally killed him, and it still has not been solved. That took a long time. That took me in a dark place of somewhere I've never been, outside of the suicidal depression that I was in when I was 14. But when I ended up coming out of that depression, I seen how much stronger I was. But once again, that took time. I was in a grief depression for almost maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years before I went to counseling, and I had to just let it go. Like everything I did, I put in memory of him. Like everything I did was his name. Everything I did was him. Like I couldn't heal because everything that I did, I tried to make it a representation of him just because to make it feel like he was still hurt, but he was gone. So I had to start letting go of things. I had to stop making everything about him. Now I find myself doing it for my brother. It's a different type of depression with my brother because we have the same blood. Like we have the same DNA strands. We have one of the same DNA strands within each other outside of the individual DNA strand that we created when our mom created us. So it's a different type of pain that I'm going through with my brother. And then it just seems like ever since I've been going through that with my brother, like I've been going through back to back issues. And I'm at this point where I'm asking God, like, when are you going to give me a break? Like, I know you're not going to leave me. I know you're not going to forsake me. But I'm tired. Like, I need a break. Like, I know you only giving me these trials and tribulations because I maybe can't take it. I am gonna overcome it. I'm bringing it to your feet, but that doesn't mean that I'm not tired. I am tired. Y'all, the most thing that can drain you is depression. I do not like feeling bad. I do not like having my energy down. Like, I don't like it. I hate it. Like, and sometimes it's so bad, I can't even shake it. Today, I have not been able to shake it. Like, I pray. I fast. I do all the above. And I say this to say that no matter how well connected you are to God, that does not mean that you're not going to have trials and tribulations. He stated in the word that you're going to still have trials. But unfortunately, my thought is like, Lord, I'm lining up to the will. Lord, I'm being righteous. Lord, I'm treating your people like you want me to treat your people. And this is the stuff I still got to go through. Like, I'm with y'all. Just don't think that I'm not with y'all. I'm all the way with y'all. Like, I'm over the top with y'all. And I'm grasping for air, just like y'all grasping for air. But it's a process, and we have to take it 1 second at a time. Not one day, but 1 second. Currently, I'm in solitude. I'm trying to get my mind right, y'all. My mind is all over the place. From being pulled from one thing to one. I'm all over the place. I'll be lying to y'all if I tell y'all I wouldn't. But once again, y'all know I'm coming to y'all all the way real, all the way transparent, because I know today this message is going to help somebody. You're not alone. I am with you. But guess what? I'm fighting for that light. I can't live in the darkness too long. I don't like the thoughts. I don't like the feeling. I don't like none of it. And I'm here to uplift y'all and let y'all know that y'all can do all things through Christ that strengthen you. You have the victory already. You have to feed your mind positive thoughts all day long. Anytime you read negative, you need to get you some sticky notes, put them everywhere, wherever you need to put them at, to make sure that you confirm to yourself exactly what you want for your future, exactly how you gonna overcome this depression, exactly how the devil needs to flee, exactly how the devil don't win. This is not this is his world, but you can overcome because God overcame the world, and it's God in us that allows us to overcome the world. So regardless, you can overcome your situation, but you're going to have to sit back. You're going to have to face it at face value. You're going to have to accept it at face value, and you're going to have to speak out. Most people that's got severe depression is because they don't speak out. They keep it to themselves. They bottle it in. They try to act like it's not happening. No, you cannot do that. You have to face it head first. You have to go straight in. Chest up, head up, chest out. Period. The only way. If you try to act like you're not going through it, if you try to pretend or put on this cute facade that you're not going through it, or you try to walk like you're not going through it, you will buckle. This not talking down or anything. This just letting you know how you have to face depression. You have to face it head first. You have to accept it, that you're feeling this way. And you have to say, what are you going to do different to take this feeling away? And the first thing is talking positive thoughts to yourself. You have to always talk positive. Even when you know everything around you is negative, you got to always talk positive. You also got to work out. You got to get those bad toxins out of you. Like, being in sync, mind, body, and soul, that's real. Like, you have to make sure that all that bad energy or bad food that you're taking in, that you're getting it out, because that also causes depression. But we don't know that. Secondly, dieting. Like, y'all, I get it. Dieting is the most horrible thing to do. I never thought I can do it. Or not even dieting, eating healthy. I'm not going to even say dieting, eating healthy. Unfortunately, some people can't afford it. Unfortunately, some people don't like the way it tastes. All the above, I was one of those. Couldn't afford it. I didn't like the way it tastes. Who wants to just sit up all day and eat turkey and chicken? No, I didn't. But what I did notice is that when I did change my diet, my mind was clear. I was able to do things that I didn't normally get to do when I wasn't dieting. So dieting matters, believe it or not. It's all part of your wealth. It's all part of your energy. It's all part of your mind and how well you think and how well you're able to use it. So that's important. Another thing is critical thinking, reading positive things, reading and retaining knowledge. You have to be able to retain knowledge. If all you getting is the same repetitive things that you're seeing that cause you to go into depression, how are you going to get out of depression if you're not changing your mindset? You have to change your mindset. So that means that you have to think different. You have to read. You have to critically think. The brain is powerful. So if you tell the brain, whatever you tell the brain will do. You have to train your brain. And that's the only way is by positivity. So that's important. And I know people call this whole going to a counseling is crazy. Not crazy. That's what I'm going to school for. I'm going to probably be some of y'all counselors one day. So if you calling it crazy, oh well, because guess what? Listening to my podcast, you getting counseled. That's what this podcast is for. It's for saving one soul at a time. That's the whole part of counseling. Going to somebody who you can open up to, express what you're going through, express the feelings that you are going through in the inside, for them to uplift you, encourage you, and help you come out of that dark place. So if you think talking to a Shrek is what y'all call it, is BS, that's BS. Period. You have to have somebody that you can confide in, especially if you're not confiding in God. If you confiding in just yourself and your own thoughts, you're going to stay in depression. But if you confine, even if you confine just in God, even if you just letting that out and you getting into your prayer room, or you just getting into a room and letting it out, at least you letting it out. But if you keep it bottled in, depression going to still stay right there at your front door. Period. So these are some of the things that has allowed me to overcome depression. Once again, I'm in depression right now. I'm in light depression though, because I do know what I'm going through. It will pass. As far as my grief for my brother, that's forever. Like, that's a bond that it's no way for me to be able to explain it to y'all. Like, we should have been twins, but God knew not to make us twins, because he knew what us being twins would have did to me today, when he knew then when he created him that the day that he was chose to be called home, that was his day. That would have really devastated me. So at the end of the day, I'm going to get through this too. And I'm going to be able to help those who going through the same process of this grief get through it. But losing somebody close like that, we lose people all the time. And life is death. But when you start losing people on the same DNA strand as you, that's a whole different level. So people can sit up here and say, get over it. They can't just be using their grief, maliciously. And, it's been 2 years now. They still ain't over it. You ain't the one to judge their time. You ain't the one to judge their grief. Grief is real. Who wants to lose somebody that God put you on this earth to love unconditionally, and then you around them every day, and then now you're not around them at all? Now you praying for their spirit to come to you. Now you praying just to be able to have a dream. Let's be clear. Losing your mama, your brothers, your grandparents, your aunts, whoever raised you, or you had that type, everybody have different connections. It's painful. And I don't wish for nobody to have to go through that, to understand that, for somebody who already have went through it. So for somebody who haven't went through it, you need to get off the gas and be a positive person to a person that is going through it. Because your day gonna come. And when your day come, you will have to endure that pain that we enduring. People just don't understand until they go through it. And guess what? I'm speaking for myself too. Yeah, I lost my best friend. That took me down. But losing my brother has taken me on another down. And I was at a point where I hadn't lost nobody that close like that. So I didn't know the emotions of how it felt. But I do know now. And there's just certain things I wouldn't do and won't say going forward, because the pain is real. Real. So, y'all, it's time to be more uplifting. It's time to be more understanding. It's time to be more forgiving. And it's time for those who understand depression, has been through depression, and has overcome to depression, to help those that are going through it get out of it. Because I don't know if y'all know or not, but there's a lot of people taking their own soul because they can't even take it no more. That's not what's up. That is not what's up at all. And it's all because they don't feel like they got anybody to talk to. They don't have anybody they can confide in. They don't have anybody who understands them, because everybody is so perfect. Yeah, right. Well, I'm here if you do need somebody to talk to. I'm not perfect by any means. And I understand how you feel. And I'm praying for you. Regardless if you know it or not or who you are. I'm praying for you because it's real. So I had a person that asked me, why do our mind automatically reflect back to negative thoughts? The reason is it could either be old trauma, it could be unforgiveness, it can be a lack of not being able to overcome whatever it may be. But in order to not automatically reflect back to the negative, you got to change that negative into a positive. Mathematical is for a reason. If you do two negatives, that makes what? A positive. If you do a positive and a negative, it makes a negative. If you do a positive and a positive, it makes a positive. So the main thing is that we got to stay positive. Like, we don't need no negative energy, period. We gonna have it though, but I'm saying we don't need it. So whenever it comes about and you start having negative thoughts, you need to overcome that with positive thoughts. So if you think you ugly or you feel ugly, you need to tell yourself you pretty. If you think you fat and you look fat, either you need to accept yourself as you are or you need to go get in the gym. You need to get on the diet. You need to do whatever you need to do to make yourself feel whole, because you are the only one that can change those thoughts. Not no one else. No matter how much anybody else boast you up or make you feel any type of way, you are the only one that can change the way you feel about yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. That's the whole thing. We are our own worst enemy. We have to check ourselves at the front door, y'all. And that's by being real to our own self, accepting our flaws, accepting our wrongdoings, and changing it. That's why every day we wake up, that's a new day. That's a new purpose. That's not a new purpose. That's his purpose. But it's a new day for anything that you did yesterday or in the past to be erased, and you can start over fresh. You don't have to keep on lingering you don't have to keep lingering with that old stuff on your back. It's gone. That was yesterday. That was a month ago. That was years ago. That was a decade ago. Let it go. Quit bringing it back to today. Today is a today. And if you made it to see today, you got a new day to start over from whatever you did yesterday to make it right. How wonderful is that? But we keep on bringing back up the old. Let it go. That can be the best advice I can give you. Let it go. And live in your today. Live in your joy in today. There's always a lesson in each blessing. The depression is a horrible feeling, but it's a lesson in the depression. Go into solitude. Accept it. And be free. Stand in your truth. The best thing that I could have did or have done in my lifetime is stand in my truth of who I am. What I have done. What I have fallen short of. And I'm okay with it. I am okay with it. And if you're not, I don't care. Because the person that I'm trying to make sure that I meet the expectations of is only God, not no human. None. That's the only expectation I'm trying to meet. So, I don't know if you got what you need out of this today, but I pray you did. And just to end it off, to let you know that we in this together, I must say a small and quick prayer for all of us. And we gonna start focusing on positive thoughts and rebuking negative thoughts. So, Lord, we come to you thanking you today for this episode. We thank you for your solitude. We thank you for allowing us to be still. And we ask today that you open up our hearts and soften our hearts to allow you and your will to be done, and open up our minds to your wisdom so that we can carry out your plan. But Lord knows that you made us all uniquely and wonderfully made for a reason, and we all have a purpose in your world. We thank you in advance for what you're going to do tomorrow, and we ask that, Lord, that you give us the strength to let the past be the past and live in our today. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. So, it's been real, y'all. I made it through. I didn't cry. Y'all gave me the strength today. Thank y'all. Because it's y'all who gave me the strength to feel better. Because when I first came in, I thought I was going to be all over the place. But you know what? It ended out exactly how it was supposed to end. And I thank y'all for listening. So make sure y'all come back next episode. I'm going to let y'all pick what the next episode going to be, because I got a lot of topics. But I'm going to let y'all pick. Drop y'all comments. Drop any questions. Reach out to me. I'm here. It's your girl, Blacc Angel. We saving one soul at a time. I love y'all. Bye.